Greetings, sailors. It's great to be back for another episode of the Navigare Webinare. We're super excited to be hosting another topic in our series. Greetings, sailors. It's great to be back for another episode of the Navigare Webinare. We're super excited to be hosting another topic in our series. We've got a great program this time. We're talking about the effect that the supply chain issues have had on the yachting industry and specifically getting new boats delivered. I am glad to report that we have lots of boats coming out of the factory. Our boats are being delivered and the manufacturers are working overtime to make sure that they get the parts they need to continue to send boats out of the factory. As we've done in the past, we're going to try and keep the webinar to 20 minutes. I know I go over every time, but we'll be reserving about 5 minutes for questions. So if you'd like to find the chat button right now, go ahead and find that. And if you have any questions to ask during the webinar, go ahead and click on that chat button and ask away. So I was fortunate enough to get a video call with the Director of Sales and Marketing for Catana, manufacturers of the Catana and Bali Catamarans, Mr. Boris Compagnon. Due to the late hour in Europe, we pre-recorded this segment a few hours ago. So not fully live, but full of wonderful, wonderful information. Hi, Jay. Thanks so much for saying hello in the chat. Well appreciated. Now, for those of you that haven't visited a yacht manufacturing facility, it's an absolutely mind-boggling process. It's incredible to see barrels of resin and rolls of fiberglass and storage areas full of parts start shaping into hulls, and then the hulls get put together, and it's just really an amazing process. It's not easy, but I can assure you that after your first visit to one of the manufacturing facilities, you'll never look at boats the same way. It's truly magnificent. So without further ado, I'd like to get started on the chat with Boris Compagnon. We're going to be talking about the issues that we're having in the industry, getting parts and making sure that boats come out on time. Hi, Boris. First, I'd like to congratulate you on your team on the increase in the number of boats that you've been able to produce. I have to say that the Bali Catamarans that we have coming into our fleets have been very well received by our charter guests and by our owners. And thank you again for the time today to discuss the hoops that the manufacturers have been jumping through to make sure that the boats are still able to be built. You know, in manufacturing, there's a very fine line between very lean manufacturing, where the necessary parts arrive just in time for their installation, versus stocking large numbers of parts for a potential shortage. And I know the industry has really moved quite strongly towards just-in-time manufacturing. So, can you tell us a little bit about the challenges that you have getting the supplies that you need?
Yeah, it's so. Thank you, Philip, for this interview. First of all, thank you very much. For being a partner with Bali. We're very proud to work with you guys at Navigare, and I'm more than happy to hear what you just said. Is like your owners are very happy with our catamarans, which is the final goal, and the unique one is to give joy to the people and make them happy with a nice boat and with I would say out of the box concept. So yes, the whole industry, to come back to the whole industry, the general industry, the boating industry suffers today from the supply chain because it's when it used to be quite fluid and with forecast, and it was easy to purchase and get the parts on time. So not at the very last moment, but at least on time. So a bit of stock, a bit of parts in the pipe, and a bit of stock with the supplier. When now today it's like a war, you know, it's where I'm gonna find the right parts and at the right time. But even our importers or manufacturers or they even themselves don't know when they will get the parts, you know, to assemble and manufacture. So it's very hard for us to get visibility. It's very hard for the whole industry at the moment to get stock and to get parts. And of course, well, this has an impact on the whole chain, on the whole delivery, on prices, on resources, on everything. So we hope we go through this period, this tough period, I would say, quite quickly in order to recover a stable, some stable deliveries and stable forecast and visibility.
Yeah, great. Understand it's worldwide and not just our industry. If you could look a year into the future, how would you predict the supply chain?
I think this will come back to normal. I mean, it's at the moment because the supply chain or the demand has been, I mean, the markets, every market have been disturbed due to the COVID situation. I think this will come back to normal probably within a year and a half. It's the demand will come back to a regular average. At the moment, the problem is the peaks, okay, and for every industry, I mean, it has to be fluid. And when you have peaks, when it's erratic, then that's when you encounter problems.
Understand. Now, interestingly, during the COVID pandemic, we expected yacht sales to go down. Surprisingly, the demand has gone up. Well, now you've increased production about 30% over last year, but what's the number one issue that you have building more boats to supply the increasing demand?
First of all, it's yes, the demand has increased worldwide in every country. I think that after this pandemic and being locked down for a few months or a few weeks, or for some of us more than that, I think we have realized that we want to enjoy and being at sea. And in fact, being locked onto the boat, it could be a good solution, you know, instead of being home. So with the home office, you know, which has been democratized a lot in many countries, being able to work from the boat, why not, or from your apartment, enjoy the family vacation on a boat. People have realized that boating was quite a nice solution instead of traveling around. So yes, demand has increased. Now our biggest challenge is, as you said, is to find the parts, okay, and of course also to find the workforce, okay, to build the yachts. Factories, of course, are not extensible, but still by many industrial processes, we've been able to accelerate the rhythm on our production chains, on our production lines, okay. So we've been able to increase and capacities. I remind you that like 7 years ago, when we first started with Bali, we were able to produce 15 boats a year. And this year we'll achieve 280 boats.
Fantastic. So we've all seen prices for shipping of parts, and lower stock on parts is driving prices up. For those parts, I assume that's going to translate into increases in boat prices. What advice would you give to somebody considering buying a boat?
It's at the moment is getting a boat very quickly is not an easy thing because as you said, the demand is high. So for any boat purchase, I mean, I would recommend, even if it's within 12 or 24 months, is just to pay the amount of deposits so you can lock the price, so you will not suffer from price increase. The reason for that, it's not for making more money or having more treasury, you know, it's just, but with the money of these deposits, then we can secure the price with our suppliers and buy the right parts and buy the right equipment and buy the price of today and not the price of tomorrow. So that's why you will not suffer from the price increase. So the best is to lock the price with the asked deposit, and then it's you can secure your purchase like this.
Interesting. My assumption always was that the manufacturers just wanted the cash in house, but very interesting point that you're able to lock in your purchase of the raw materials. Now,
Exactly.
You've been speaking on behalf of the industry as a whole, as most of the manufacturers that we work with are in France. Since we have you here, would you like to talk specifically about some of the innovations that you've been introducing in the Bali lineup?
Yeah, well, Bali has we've been very innovative since the last 7 years. As I said, is because we came on the market with this solid foredeck and this tilting door at the back, which was quite a thing. I mean, when we launched the first boat. Now I think that the market and people, owners have understood that, yeah, that was a great thing without any compromise on the boat performances or the boat abilities at sea. It's we've been very innovative in the past 7 years because now we have a range of 8 boats. Okay, so when we first started with only one, now we have 8 boats in the range. So we have a boat that could fit every budget or every market, I would say. Okay, and yes, we're working hard, and we got a lot of things in the pipe as well. So we'll come very soon with new technologies, new boats, new concepts, and a lot of things to see.
Fantastic. By the way, we did have one of our team members from Navigare in France get to the factory and do a video walkthrough on the new Bali 4.4. So we hope that that's well received. And in ending, I want to thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you next week at the Miami Boat Show.
Thank you very much, Philip. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And yes, hope to see you next week in Miami.
Fantastic. Thank you, Boris. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, that was wonderful being able to spend some time with one of the manufacturers that we work with. Again, it's such a fascinating process. And if you ever get a chance to visit one of the factories, please make sure you do it. Boris, again, was in La Rochelle on the Vendée coast of France. So I've been able to speak with Boris several times over the last several weeks, and may be able to answer any questions you've had. We've had some questions come in actually before the webinar. If you can find that chat button, I know you may have had some questions come up as you were listening. Go ahead and ask away. I'm going to take a few minutes and answer the questions that have been submitted. Sam asked, if I buy a new Lagoon or Bali or FP and a custom factory part breaks, what is the backlog in getting it corrected by the manufacturer? For example, are you seeing massive delays in warranty claims? So first, the hulls are pretty custom, but there are, and the wood products are fairly custom. But a lot of the systems and things that we see issues with, for example, a bilge pump goes out or a light goes out, those are fairly standard. Doesn't really answer your claim or your question about the warranty claims. We have seen some delay. For the most part, however, in our industry, we have a fairly good stock of parts. Some parts are getting harder to find, but we'll typically resolve the issue at the base as we're submitting the claim. So our boats have to go back out, and sometimes the next day. So we do have parts on hand for most of the issues that pop up on a regular basis. So far, we haven't seen a huge slowdown in getting warranty issues taken care of. Robin asked, What sort of supply issues or backlog are you seeing for yachting ancillary items such as sails, dinghies, anchors, engines, etc.? Thanks, Robin. Fortunately, we don't have rarely, if ever, have needs to replace engines. Most are Yanmar or Volvo, and they tend to be very bulletproof. But the other parts, dinghies, dinghy engines, outboard engines, definitely hard to get. And we have a very big backlog and lead time for those parts. We do have supplies again on hand, but the time frame where typically we could order a new air conditioning unit and have it at a base in 3 days, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks is now going to be measured in months. So we've been doing our best to stock up on supplies as we can get them and make sure that we can plan for those eventualities. Jose asked, which shipyards have the best track record? I'm assuming that means for getting boats out on time, always an issue. All of the manufacturers tend to be pretty close. I would say that Lagoon and Bali are probably the closest to their original dates for the most part. We do, FP notifies us in advance as they're having delays. So they're of course very stressed and hoping parts come in time to get boats out at the last minute, but things happen right at the very end of the chain, and so we do get delays that are out of our control, out of the shipyard's controls as well. Melanie asked, have supply chain delays impacted the commissioning at the bases? Well, most of the commissioning for our boats is done in France. We use several of the commissioning yards, the boat yards near the factories. They're putting the masts on, doing the bottom paint, getting the boats really all put together, getting all the Navigare supplied equipment on the boats. So we have not had much impact at the shipyards. We do a week, 10 days of commissioning at the bases. We're pretty well supplied for that. We know which boats are coming in, and we're prepared to get those boats turned around quickly. Jordan asked, are you encountering shipping delays? Remarkably, we are not having any shipping delays. We have had boats miss ships, but the ships have been sailing on time. The shipping costs have gone up, but luckily the ships are leaving on time, and we're very glad to hear that. Bill asked, what happens to the book charters when a boat is significantly delayed? We try to put in a buffer. We have a really good idea. Well, first of all, we're trying to get as many bookings on the boats in advance as we can. So we do have to set a charter ready date. We do the best we can to make sure that charter ready date is accurate. It meets the shipping criteria. Once the boat gets on the ship, we're pretty sure of those dates. But it does happen that a boat will miss a ship, or delivery will be from the boatyard will be delayed. So we have, if we go past that buffer that we put in, we do have to move charters from one boat to another boat. Sometimes it's difficult, but we have been able to move these around. And let's see, Henry asked, What is the first boat that I can get in a fleet if I were to put down a deposit tomorrow? Henry, great question. We have a Bali 4.2 coming out of the factory in just about a month. So love to get you in that boat. At the very end, I'll give you a number you can call for our sales department. We'd be happy to get you in a boat. We do have several boats that we can get you into this year. And if I'm not mistaken, we still have 53 boats available for 2023 that we have on order. We're at the 20-minute minute mark. I do have, let's see, seize the day. My Bali was delivered with no genset, making it, let's see, carrying costs. We are working on actually the genset is being shipped. We have a boat that we're putting it on, and it should be on its way shortly. That was a very surprising situation, and a big surprise for us. Can you explain the up to 12 weeks of use, how you're able to use the entire 12 weeks? Great question. I don't have the name, but that's from SMG981U. So 12 weeks, and great question. Let me just preface all that. We do have boats that we sell, put into our charter fleets, and charter them out. So if you have any questions about chartering with us or buying a boat and putting it in our charter fleet, we would love to work with you. And one of the benefits of owning a boat in charter, in addition to the revenue that you can receive, guaranteed, if you want the guaranteed plan, potential tax advantages for those that qualify, is the usage time. So up to 12 weeks with our ultimate program, that is a shared revenue program that has the best, it's really set up for the best tax advantages. We have for 12 weeks of usage. You book the weeks, and knowing that the more you use the boat, the less charter revenue you'll receive in return. For those that are in our guaranteed revenue programs, the 12 weeks would include using mostly low season weeks and last minute bookings, basically bookings that are taking place in the last week before a charter goes out, something that we're not likely to be able to book in that last week. So again, we have bases around the world. We represent most of the major cruising catamarans, Bali, Lagoon, Fontaine-Pajot, XS, Nautilus, for monohulls, Beneteau, Jeanneau, Dufour. I know I'm forgetting some. If you haven't been following the series, you can go to our YouTube channel, Navigare. Just type that in, search on YouTube. And we have lots and lots of interesting topics. And please let us know if you have any topics that you would like to see for the upcoming webinars. And sign up on navigare-yachting.com, and you'll receive all of the emails about upcoming events. And you're always welcome to call us at 1-800-807-1562. And you can speak to our charter agents or yacht sales agents, and we would love to take care of you. Looking forward to seeing you all in Miami. If you're interested, we can get you a couple of tickets. Just give us a call. On behalf of the entire Navigare team, great having you on this webinar, and smooth sailing. Thank you and good evening.